Hello and welcome. I'm your host, author Ryan M. Oliver, and this is the Mighty Books Podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Mighty Books Podcast. Today with me, I have Sequoyah Branham. Sequoyah is passionate about sharing the beauty and the heartbreak of ranching, whether through her Western contemporary novels, swapping stories with the cowboys at the feed store, or gathering a pasture. She strives to preserve the ranch life. She's covered several areas of Texas ranching with her family on both cattle and sheep operations. With a sense of adventure, Sequoyah had dabbled in things from equine massage therapy to marketing. Whatever you find her doing, she's likely to have her hat on, and you can bet a horse or a dog isn't too far away. Sequoyah, welcome. How are you today?
Good. Thank you for having
Thank you for being here. Just for those you don't know, it is very early in the morning, and we're
me.
both very dedicated to getting this interview done. So I
Yes.
appreciate you coming on today. Super early. You said 6 a.m. your time?
Yes, sir.
Yes, 6 a.m. And you're out of where again?
I am in Texas.
Yeah, that's probably a good place to do some ranching down in Texas. Yes. That's great. That's great. So what we're here to talk about your book today. So what is your book about?
Yes. So my book is titled In the Company of Cows. And I will just read you my short pitch
Yes, please.
instead of trying to spitball that off the top of
That's
my
that's
head.
a wise choice. I love it, especially this early in the morning. I'm drinking coffee while I'm listening, so I'm all ears. Go ahead.
Right. So in drowsy West Texas, Nora Kelly must secure a new piece of land to lease or risk losing the job that has become her whole world. She enlists the help of her real estate agent uncle, only to find that there might be more costs than she thought to stay in the company of cows.
Awesome. Awesome. Excellent. Thank you for reading that for me. Appreciate it. So obviously you living in Texas, born in Texas.
Yes.
Okay. So you were around, you born on the ranch, family owned ranch?
My family's never owned a ranch. I just always worked for other people, but born into it. And I grew up helping my dad and a couple of uncles. So kind of I got several different experiences.
That makes sense. That makes sense. When you're around, horses and animals and the ranch life, I imagine there's a lot of inspiration that comes from that derives from that. So
For
what made
sure.
you want to write a book on ranching or having ranching as the setting? What made you want to write a book though?
I started writing in middle school, a kind of a lonely, angry little middle schooler, and I needed a an outlet. So um, pretty quickly I realized that I enjoyed it and I wanted to eventually publish, but I also knew that there was a pretty big gap between um, my skill level and something that I would be able to put out and feel proud of. So, kind of fast forwarding, I joined the Author Conservatory, which is a 3 year college alternative program for gifted writers. And so they teach writing craft and business to be able to market and sell your book. But so that's when I started feeling like, okay, I can create something that I'm proud of and want to put out. But it's always been about ranching. I eat, breathe, and live that. There's talking about any other topic and all of my analogies will come back to that. And so it's always been ranching.
Awesome. Awesome. So even like all your puns are probably ranching, all jokes are ranching. I like it.
Pretty
I like
much.
it. For
Yes.
you are what you eat.
Yeah.
You not literally, obviously, but you get my picture. It's early. I'm still waking up. I am only halfway through my coffee. So, you said there's an author conservatory that teaches you the writing skill and it teaches you business skills too. Well, that just
Yes.
seems really logical to me. But I've never heard of that before. That's amazing. So is this a long time thing, long running thing, or pretty new?
They're fairly new. Within the last, I would say like 5 years. Yeah, kind of their inspiration behind it is more and more, even if you get traditionally published, publishers want you to, bring your platform with you and be able to market and that kind of thing. And
Right.
as a whole authors do not, the industry has not approached it as a business, kind of more like, oh, this is my little art project baby, and now we want the world to have it.
Right.
Just kind of melding those two worlds of business and the writing, to be able to take that project that you've poured so much of yourself in and get it to the world and make it, have the skills to put behind it for it to have an impact.
Yeah, no, that's it's to me that is extremely wise because just from I've been an published author myself for about 3 years now, and when you start off on the journey of I want to write a book, you never think of I need to be not an expert, but I need to have some serious knowledge in marketing at least.
Mm-hmm.
And what a pain in the butt. I mean, I love talking to people. Obviously, it's kind of a thing, clearly, but it's not something that you just go, oh, I'm going to do this for marketing a book. I'm going to have all the social media stuff for marketing a book. You don't think about that until it's
Mm-hmm.
slammed in the face of how do I get it out to the masses after I've worked on this for some people a year, some people
Mm-hmm.
like myself taking 15 years to get my stuff off the ground. And it's just something when you have the tools in hand, go, here's the strategies. Oh, well, that's kind of, and your marketing book, it's catered to you guys who are writing. So that's really
Mm-hmm.
cool. Is there a lot of people in the conservatory?
I think there are around 200 students right now. And
Wow.
so each month, I'm not sure exactly, I think between 3 and 5 students join each month.
Wow,
Um,
that's incredible. And is it, do you have like an age range on there?
it is targeted to young authors. College age is the target audience there, but there is high school students there, and there
That's
are
great.
people who, have been in the workforce a little while. So
Okay.
it's a very personalized program, and so there's an application process, and if you're not college age, still apply. It's because it's personalized, and they take everybody's story and where they're at in the journey into account.
So the whole ranching thing. So how is it I'm just curious, like, is kind of help me dive into the story a little bit. What made you come up with the story? Did you just kind of, were this daydreams or some event trigger the inspiration of your story?
This story is special, the story itself, but also I think, kind of the inspiration behind it. So it is very inspired and very influenced by my relationship with my uncle. He really helped me build a lot of confidence. I referenced my rough middle school. It stretched beyond middle school, and so he was very instrumental in helping me kind of come out of that and just build a lot of confidence in myself.
Mhm.
And so next month, which is when the book releases, October 24th, it will be 3 years since I came up with the story concept. So it did a lot of sitting in
Okay.
there. But even at that point, I knew that I wanted to honor just everything that he had helped me learn and grow through. And so June of 2022, he passed away. That really became my heart when I decided to publish, was to honor his life and his legacy and what he helped me with. So that didn't really answer your question on the ranching
That's
aspect,
okay.
but
That's okay. I love segues into, bigger caveats. It's totally cool. So, but that's really nice. Did you put his name in the book too?
in the dedication.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, yeah. I know a lot of people they'll either take people they know, obviously very personally and put them in the book or just do a dedication. But
Mhm.
I mean, either way is marvelous to do it. The care is a character based on him. Very cool. I love it. That's super nice. But was there an event that took place that helped grow the concept or start the concept?
So I think when one of the pivotal moments in our relationship and him helping me grow was, so my dad and I had gone to help Brazos, my uncle, for fall work, and there was a big steer that had run off, and somebody had roped and tied him down. And so after we finished gathering that pasture, we went back to pick him up. And Brazos told me, like, get in and we're gonna go do this. And I was like, okay, but like I don't know what I'm doing. So we get there, and he had me load him, which I like had never done. He also put like a an extra rope so that if something went wrong, he was not gone, which I really appreciated. But that was a moment for me that I really started to like realize how much he believed in me and started to let myself open up.
Nice.
And so I think I had that moment in mind when I started brainstorming this concept.
Oh, cool.
But that was in mind. And then I just started, I think that feeling was where that came from. And then I just started like, okay, how do I create a story where this where my character gets this feeling and gets this feeling of being believed in.
That's really neat. I love how you just have a seed of something that can grow into, you know, a book or something huge like this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is this a one-off story, or do you have a series planned, or what's the future state? What's coming to mind here?
Yes. I do.
All of it. That's the eyes I just saw. It's like everything.
Yes.
So many people are like everything you said. Yes. But yeah,
when
series.
I when I started, I had like it was going to be one and done with these characters, but I do have plans for. So this is a novella, so it's not quite 50,000 words, but I do have plans for a full length novel. It's not
Yeah.
very far in the plans, but
Sure.
it has
Oh
plans.
yeah. So how many? What's the word count?
This is right at 38,000 words.
Okay. Okay. I don't
Mhm.
know if it's official, but I believe the word count for a novel is 40K and up. I think that's
Okay.
what it is. I I don't know if it's official. I saw it somewhere and I'm like 40,000, sweet. I think probably Googled it or Wikipedia'd it. Someone probably, put it up there as a random number. I don't know. But I think 40K and up is considered a novel. So just throw a couple extra adjectives in your book and you'll have a novel, right? Make it as flowery as possible. I actually like the novella idea almost better than the novels themselves, just because in this day and age, at least,
Mhm.
because a lot of folks who do enjoy reading might be really just very busy. And when you can sit down and you can just slam out a couple of 100 pages, on the weekend or something, or
Mhm.
some of us read really fast. I don't necessarily read that fast, but in an evening or afternoon between a couple of days, that's kind of nice. You can sit down and watch one movie for 2.5 hours. You can read in a half a day and get that done. It's like, wow, I consumed a book. This is great. Versus those
Mhm.
fat, 6, 7, 800 page books, which I love, but they take a lot of gnawing to get through.
Yes.
A lot of gnawing to get through. So that's really cool though. Do you have a number in mind, like how many books, or just kind of as they come, you're going to write them?
So I do have, like I said, a novel planned. There's a second novel that may or may not come to fruition. But it's very dependent upon, can I make a story out of this? Like, can I take again the story seed and make it grow enough to have a full book? So I think there's potential for more, but I
Oh
won't
yeah.
know until I get there.
Oh yeah, no, no, it takes time. It just takes a lot of time. Now with the conservatory, do they have like author groups for you guys to come together with other people and do brainstorming or peer sharing, anything like that?
For sure, there's a ton of
That's great.
peer feedback and brainstorming, and we get so we have critique calls with editors and authors,
Oh,
um,
great.
that they give us feedback on our. So we go concept, synopsis, and outline, and then draft, and then we have feedback on our draft as well. But so there's a ton of peer feedback. There's just a big kind of Facebook group style. It's online community, but kind of that kind of style,
Right.
where you can post and just any student can go and give you feedback. And then we also have brainstorming pods, which is kind of 5 to 7 students, a little bit more close knit. So, but
Yeah.
there's a ton of feedback.
That's something that I think is very important, especially if you have a group of people you actually trust, you know what I mean? With because giving feedback can be very personal, obviously. I mean, it's something that you
Mhm.
came up with. I've always quoted it to being a you made a brain baby, you know, with your book. You know what I mean? It's there's a lot of dedication, a lot of very personal stuff you put in there. And so when you have someone you can trust or you can trust to not just rip it to shreds, you know, and go, hey, this is a really great idea. However, I'd love to see this. You know, you don't have to take the criticism or the feedback, but it's just nice to have that person say those things like, okay, this is great. However, I'd love to see more of this.
Mhm.
You know, that's all personal preference, obviously, but that's really great that they actually you have all that. So they have editors, cover people, all that stuff there to actually get a book made for you.
Through the program, we get manuscript assessment, edit letters. I feel like some terms, there's like 5 terms for the same idea in the industry. But so, editor reads the whole manuscript and then writes, I think mine was like 11-ish pages for on my novella of feedback. There's that that we get on full length projects, novellas, novels, and then there are student showcase anthologies that they recently started of short stories, and so they will get students in those get line edits as well. My cover designer I found through she was recommended from people in the conservatory, but she doesn't it
Work for
wasn't
them.
through them that I
That
facilitated.
kind of what it sounded like. Sounded like it was almost strictly writing for the conservatory, which
Mm,
totally makes sense. Going from writing to graphic design, two completely different worlds. I
right.
mean, and because I mean, my cover designer does my cover. She does the layout, internal and external layout, everything she puts together, and the different formats, whether it's paperback, hardback, ebook, all that fun stuff. So having someone like that is pivotal to getting your books done. But you know, if you don't have the meat of it, you know, the writing done, you just have a really pretty package, which your cover
Right.
is very beautiful, by the way. Very well done. Did you have any say in your cover design?
I did. Hannah Linder did my cover and she did amazing. I really told her, so obviously gave her like the back cover blurb and all of that good stuff. But I said, I have this vision of my main character looking like you see the back of her and she's looking at Hereford cattle. And that's pretty much all I told her. And she pretty much what you see is what she delivered the first time. I had very few, like it was kind of like tenting of, you know, can you shadow this a little bit more? And
Sure.
that was really all. So it was a
Love that.
really smooth process.
I love when people, you know, just click and it's easy and it's the product is wonderful. It's just so cool to see. Like I said before, it's very early in the morning. We did because we both have jobs because you know it's just how it goes. People got to work and pay for bills and stuff. Those silly bills. What do you do for work?
I am working at a feed store, so I do work the front to interact with the customers, which I love, but also with an emphasis on marketing and growing their customer base. So
So you wear multiple hats, which is pretty cool. Yeah, and that's really great that you can do well. And also, I mean, kind of you just being in the public there, you know, working at the feed store, and your books on ranching that really helps. Well, that's great
yes,
because you have you get all the jargon and the fun stuff there too. You know you know everything down to what the cows and the horses eat and everything like that. It's kind of important,
yes,
and you know you do a little marketing yourself right there. Like, oh yeah, I've got my little novella here. Here you go. You can
right.
read this while you're. You know, I don't know. I don't know. I don't. I've never been to Texas. I'd love to go. But anyway, that's just a random question for you. Now, do you own? It said you own, or not own. My bad. You dabbled in equine massage therapy. Please go into this. I'm just seeing like a big table with a massage there with a you know the horse laying down with a big blanket over it, and you're doing. I'm going weird right now. I think it's probably just early morning. I'm still drinking coffee. I don't know, but can you go into this for me, but real quick?
Yes. So the same kind of massage therapy that you get, you know, as a human would do it with them standing up though. So,
Oh yeah, yeah. Horse laying down,
um,
not a good thing.
right.
Yeah.
But so I had still have him. His my little sister has taken him over now, but I had a horse who gave me a lot of signs for a long time, and I just didn't know what they meant. He got really tight in his shoulders and in his neck. I actually had to stop riding him for about a year. He was in too much pain. He didn't seem to be when like I wasn't on him, but the saddle seemed to put too much pressure in places. And so that kind of led me to kind of figuring this out. And so I did do a an online course, but then I kind of finished that course and I was like, okay, but I don't feel like I know what I'm doing because I had him. I was like, well, we'll just like figure it out as I go, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and so over, I don't know, it was a couple of months, got just doing really regular massages, got him loosened up and he reverted back to being like a colt. He's like, I've never felt this good. I didn't know my body worked in
Wow.
this way. It's really awesome to see what it can do. And it makes so much sense when you think about it. You know, like when your muscles get tight, it makes you angry and all kinds of things.
Oh, don't
But
I know it?
right.
Oh my, just curious. With the podcast, I'll talk a little about book, and it's usually just kind of all centered around you and your life and everything, because that's kind of the whole purpose of this. Our books are very snippets of what we do.
Mhm.
So, writing going to be, or being an author going to be like the central hub of where you're hopefully going to be doing your earnings, or are you wanting to really work with horses and, ranch, and it even says you have a dog not too far away, which I love dogs too, so that's
Mhm.
great. Or you want to work with the animals more as your primary source of time spent, or you got to kind of go between both? How does that look to you, when you look into the future 5, 10, 15 years from now?
I would say probably decently equal time commitments. I never see myself as just like full-time author. That's all I do.
That's really hard
And
these days.
for sure.
Yeah.
And I think with where my stories come from too, just keeping that alive and keeping kind
Heck
of
yeah.
those ideas flowing.
Yeah, that's really cool. Are you hoping to go in full time doing massage therapy for horses?
I think that would be super cool.
Yeah,
Um, at the same time, I also know that I am not a person that stays with one thing full time very
sure.
well. I like to have a lot of things going at a part-time basis, and so never gets bored that way. If one thing isn't going very well today, well, I'll go do something else.
And also you can just be your more oh, what's the word? Versatile, more
Mhm.
versatile. So it's like if you're working with horses or on ranches, you have many services you provide, which I think is better these days. If you provide more services for people, they're like, hey, I'm willing to hire you or pay you to do whatever you need to do. And then there's more stuff coming up, and hey, I can do that too. Ooh, okay. And I don't have to, farm out to other people. I can go to one person
Mhm.
for many things. And I'm a simple person. I like one, as few people as possible to get this much done, or as few
Yeah.
things done to get this much done. You know what I'm talking about? So that's a very good idea. A lot of probably different skill sets you've developed over the years. So have you done a lot of cattle ranching then?
I have. So, like I said, I grew up, I always going with my dad, and then I got to spend nearly 2 years on the ranch with my uncle, and so just everybody does things differently. So I,
Oh yeah.
learn different things from different people, and then I just recently finished up about a year of taking care of a cow calf operation myself, which was really special. So I grew up there with my dad, and then he took a different job, and so I got to take that over, and so it was special to get to continue to grow there.
So just out of curiosity, what was your most favorite part about writing your book?
That's a really good question. I I hear other people talk, and they're like, "Oh, the outlining stage is just the worst stage for me, or it's the best stage for me." And I don't feel like I've ever felt that about one stage. Like
Cool.
I struggle, like, you have your struggle of like this piece just isn't working
Mhm.
in the outline or in the draft. And I think, that always comes. But I feel like like I get to the other side of that and I was like, man, like that it was kind of awful, but also like look what I have now. And so I don't know that I have a favorite part. I think it's really hilarious. So like in a hilarious favorite part way.
Hmm.
I rewrote this book. There are drafts of it in three different person and tenses. So I wrote it in third person present tense.
Yeah.
I knew that nobody writes that and why nobody writes that, but I just needed words on the page and that's what I was used to. So
Yeah.
I wrote the first draft, third person present tense. I changed it to third person past tense before my critique partners looked at it.
Hmm.
And then it went to my developmental editor. And her biggest piece of feedback was this needs to be first person present tense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I changed it again.
That would be very challenging to just go back and change the tenses all day long. I write in third person most of the time, but I want to do more narrative. Narrative, I think, is a lot of books do a lot of narrative first
Mhm.
person, which I get, but it all depends on the story too. If you're following, because are you following
Mhm.
one person that's based off
Yes.
of one person? So that makes sense. It's really got to be the narrative on that. Mine's a, a lot bigger, with more people,
Okay.
and so following that person a little hard. So
Right.
distinguishing the characters is really important. But that's really cool. So are you going to do that for most of them? Is do narrative?
That is my plan.
Okay.
Yes. So a book that I had written the first draft of before most of the editing stages within the Company of Cows. I just changed it over to first person, and then the one that I'm currently drafting, I am doing it in first person. So,
How many do you have in the fire right now?
so I guess the three of them. So in the Company of Cows that I'm launching, and then one that is in the editing stages, and then one that I'm drafting right
Look at you go. You can do multiple at once. I cannot. It's so
now.
bad. I am so like one at a time, one at a time, which is terrible because like a lot of us will have three, four, five different ideas, and that's
Mhm.
so exciting. You're just on the creative, got the creative juices going, and then you're like, I got to actually sit down and work on this now.
Yes.
That takes time. I have to find one
Yeah.
thing, do it. It's like, but that's not as fun as so.
No.
No, I love the brainstorming stage. I love the brainstorming
Mhm.
stage. It's just you just can come up with everything, and it's so fun. When you get into the crux of it and you actually start writing it, it's fun too. But you got to have time. You got to have
Mhm.
you know quiet. I
Yes.
don't have
Yes.
quiet here very often with my kids and my
Mhm.
dog and our life. It's just we're busy, so it's just quiet is not a thing I right now. Hopefully, when I don't know, I go deaf, maybe I can get that done. But whatever, life goes on. Anyhow, how was the editing stage for you? Was it pretty painless or painful or a bit of both?
It really was not bad at all.
Good.
I had been pretty prepared of like, watch your hopes and dreams crumble for a while. And so
That's a good way to
there's
put it, actually.
actually one of my favorite stories from the process to go along with the editing. So when I got my developmental feedback back, I saw the email in my inbox. Like I said, I'd been prepared for it to be, hard to read.
Yeah.
And so at the time, I was working as a wrangler guiding trails in Colorado. And
Oh,
so
cool.
there was three of us who were working there. And so after we got done for the day, I told the other two, I was like, okay, I'm going to read this and I might cry. If so, like, just ignore me. It's fine. And so we're sitting on the couch, they're watching a movie, and I'm reading, and I was all like, okay, like that's manageable. It's not, like taking out huge chunks or redoing huge chunks. I was like, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. And so at the very end, my editor had like 3 to 5 lines that she was like, I just really enjoyed these. And one of them, when my critique partners had looked at it, they were like, I mean, it sounds good, but it just doesn't like, I can't get a picture in my head being the defiant little person that I am. I was like, well, that's great, but I personally really love it. So if my editor says to take it out, I will, but like it's staying for now. And she actually highlighted it as a line that she really loved. And so sitting on the end of the couch, I just like slapped the arm of it and I was like, I knew that was a good line. And my coworkers were like, "Are you okay? Like that is not crying." And I was like, "No,
That
it's
is
fine. Like we're good."
I said there was a potential for tears. I didn't say it was going to
Right.
happen. I didn't tell you that there could be also elation and satisfaction, vindication
Exactly.
for what I thought was correct. Oh, that's amazing. Cool. Yeah, I like that. I like that. And when you have a good editor too, they always enhance the story, and it makes you feel better. Like I'm not as bad as I thought I was.
Right.
Because we all think we suck. We all think we're terrible. Isn't that awful? And most of us actually have a very good grasp of the English language. It's almost like we speak it as speak it or something. I don't know. But speaking it and writing it are two different things. I mean,
Very.
holy crap. I've got friends of mine who very well spoken, pretty good vocabulary, but they write like they're second graders. It's just, oh my God. It's like, did you ever pick up a pen, man? What's wrong with you? And I can give them crap because we're friends. So, but
Right.
but very intelligent people, and they just can't write to save their life. It's like whatever. That's not what you're meant to do. You got
Right.
other things you like to do, and that's totally cool. You can do things I can't do. So we'll just go from there. That's so cool. You got vindicated. This is a good line.
Yes.
Keep making more of those. Make more of those. That's so nice. Now, when you're going through your day to day and you have like, funny interactions or interesting interaction, do you keep like a notebook on you or write it in your phone or something?
I
Or you
do
just
have a note
memory
on
bank
my
it?
phone of they're usually like one line things that I was like, that is genius. Other than that, it's pretty rare that I put them in there. It has to like really be good. Yeah, I don't think I've ever like recorded a
A
piece of
conversation.
conversation really. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had a few conversations that were just absurd. And I'm like, I gotta put this in somewhere. Because I worked with the shipyards out here, and the people that you work with come from everywhere,
Mhm.
and some are brilliant, others are, how did you put on pants this morning? You know what I mean? And it's just in the conversations when you put those people together, they're either inspiring or hilarious. Most of the time, they're hilarious. So I've had to write them down and just because they stuck out so well, and I've had to put them in the books because
Yes.
I can't let that die. I
Just
have
keep a
to.
voice recorder on you.
Oh
Like
God, I wish I could, but they don't allow that stuff down there because it's all secret and whatever, meh, government stuff. But
right.
no cameras, no recorders, no one. So that's all going to be up here and with the notebook. We weren't allowed any phones. We had to make sure we had. I always had a pocketbook on me and would write crap down because inspiration would hit, in random
Right.
times. So anyway, just had to ask. So when did your book come out?
October 24th.
October 24th, 2023. Are you doing the launch or anything? Setting fireworks off? Going for a horseback ride? What are you doing to celebrate? What are you doing to mark it out?
Yes. So the night before, so the 23rd, I'm having a launch party in my hometown. Very excited for that. It's going to be
Mm-hmm.
a lot of fun. Other than that, I don't have a ton of plans, just to kind of soak it in.
Yeah.
I think my favorite part of the launch, though, so I've been offering signed copies of obviously paperback. But so as people order, I have been writing little notes, just thank you and well wishes kind of thing. But it's really cool to be able to write that name and send a note, and just it feels a little bit more personal than
Yes.
some other ways. So
Try to do that as much as you can, just because it just people do really enjoy that. As long as they're ordered from you got the physical copy, signed, send a nice note to them. But yeah, it's super nice to actually connect with those who purchase the
mhm.
books from you, and that's super neat. And then it's really cool if you got a lot of people in your hometown who read it and they're going to ask you so many questions and like, what happens to
Yes.
this person? How's this person? It's really fun because you get to, I don't know, it's just that you kind of get to share something you've been working on for, you said, three
Mhm.
years.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a long time to work on one project, isn't it? And
Yes.
yeah, it's insane. I love that so much. Super cool. Super cool. So do you own any horses or dogs or anything like that? Just because it's on here, I gotta ask.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have three horses and then one dog.
Three horses? Oh my goodness. That's
I
amazing.
had four, but like I said, my little sister took one of them out there.
Oh, okay. Okay. That little sister. That little sister. Like took one like a sibling takes your your toy or something like this is mine now. Sorry. Or you gave it to her.
I gave permission.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. How many siblings do you have?
I have two. An
Two.
older sister, younger sister.
Okay, you're the middle, huh? Ah, you would be the devil child, huh? The mischievous child. That's the middle one. My little brother's the middle one, and my wife's the middle child. So they both have a very, I can't say defiant. They're both very, they're passionate. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
They're opinionated, and I love it and hate it at the same time. So it's just like, yeah, get them, and like, oh no, I'm on the receiving end. So
Yes.
you get the both, the both uh, older and younger sibling. So you get kind of the razzes from both sides. So I
Yes.
feel like it makes you more quick-witted.
I don't feel like I'm quick. I feel like so reading back, like going and pulling snippets for emails and social media posts and all of that good stuff, even through all of the what felt like 57 rounds of edits, I picked up on some of the wit that I had put in there, and obviously some of it was intentional.
Sure.
But as I've gone back and like held the book in my hand and flipped through and found things, I'm like, wow, there's some stuff in here I didn't really realize that I put in here. So I think I require the time to process to bring that wit out, but it is there.
Well, and as you get older, and if you use it, it's just like a tool. You sharpen it every day. It's gonna get pretty damn sharp. My siblings and I, we razz each other all the time, just because that's how we show affection. We, call each other names, and we want to no, call me a worse one. Call me a worse one. That's just it's just we're probably sick in the head, and therapists should probably look at us, but I don't want to. Anyway, we're getting to the tail end here. Where can people find your book if they're not, directly in your hometown? Where can they find your book? Where can they pick it up? Where can they buy it? Where can they support you?
So probably the easiest place to go is my website, sequoiahbranham.com. And then I have links to all of the major retailers. So it's ebook is available everywhere, and paperback will be in Barnes and Noble, Amazon, and most of the major places as well.
Nice. That's super fun. I'm looking forward to it. I want to check it out too, because like I said, I love novellas. Sequoyah, this has been very nice. Thank you for getting up very early and meeting me, and so we can get you on here and get you featured. So thank you for coming on today.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it. It's been great.
Good. I'm really glad. And as we go down your author journey, as you go down your author journey, you have more books coming out. You want to talk about it again. I'd love to do a follow-up interview in the future. I think that'd be fun.
Yes, that would be so much fun.
Awesome. All right. Well, guys, go out and get her book. Look for it. Go get it. Enjoy yourself. Share it, obviously. Support you new, young, up-and-coming authors. All right. And have a great rest of your day. And as always, stay mighty and keep reading.
Are you an author? Do you know someone who is? If so, then message me, Ryan Oliver, at ryanmoliver.com to set up a free appointment to discuss being showcased on the Mighty Books podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe to the Mighty Books YouTube channel and share the link to this and more episodes with your friends and family. Thanks for listening. So long for now. Stay mighty and keep reading.